my place of refuge. Swear I wanna be. 304, that's all I ever live for. 304, alright. 304, that's all I ever live for. 304, alright. Far away, touch so nice. So we got love with a little bit of sugar and spice. That's right. Friendly smiles, that's all you'll ever see. Mountain heaven, no place I'd rather be. 304, that's all I ever live for. 304, alright, it's alright. 304, that's all I ever live for. 304, live for, alright. Winding roads take me home to a place where it's blue and gold, scenic sights and ooh, sweet honeybees. Magic views, a beautiful place to be. 304, that's all I ever live for. Live for. 304, alright, it's alright. 304, that's all I ever live for. 304, live for, alright. If you've never been, I think you should go. Place to know. 304, so nice. If you've never been, I think you should go. Place to know. 304, alright.
Man, it's a great day to be a Mountaineer. Let me tell you that right now. You know, anytime Pat McAfee and Pat White are coaching your spring game, I mean, two legends in Mountaineer history, right?
Yeah.
On the same team, one of our best teams ever in history. I mean, and they come back and coach. Pat McAfee's huge now in media. I mean, you know,
Mogul. He's a mogul.
let's hope now he brings game day during the Penn State game, right? Welcome in, everyone. I'm Joey Foster. Right over there is Shane. Shane, man, we had a good day today. 18,540
18,000 fans. It's a great day for Mountaineers getting drafted. If you're a Steelers fan, you're going to have two jerseys to pick from. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I'm looking right here on Facebook, and some cat at like 2 in the morning was walking down in campus last night and got a picture with old Pat McAfee, and Pat looks like he's all smiles.
Yeah, Pat said he went out and had a little bit of water, Mountaineer water last night.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah,
and guys, if you in the comments, if you know, I saw on Twitter or X, that Pat was singing Country Roads in a bar. I don't know what bar that is. Okay, so hit us up in the comments so I can, you know, scratch that itch that I have as a question in my mind of where he was singing Country Roads.
Yeah.
It looks like a smaller place. It wasn't Kegler's, I don't think. It wasn't the sports page, I don't believe. So, guys, in the comments, if you knew where Pat was singing Country Roads, hit us up and let us know. Joey,
Yes.
so tell me, I had a full day of dropped my son off real early turkey hunting. I was following the draft. I just saw bits and pieces. I did see that it was a huge turnout. I did see fans on the field, but you know, run us through the big differences this year between last year's blue and gold game and this year, other than a crap ton of fans.
Wow. Well, that's a big thing to me. It's a crap ton of fans. 18,540. That's probably the most I've ever seen for a spring game at Mountaineer Field.
What do you usually get? $6,000, maybe $8,000?
Well, I think we usually get about 12, but I mean, it was
18.
up. So, I mean, you know, you think about 18,540, that's more than Pitt averages on home games. So, you know, we're beating Pitt just for the spring.
Yeah, they might get
game.
18,000 for the homecoming.
Yeah, they might, but hey, amazing day. So then you have Pat McAfee and Pat White coaching the teams. You had the first, because I've never seen the fans be able to come on the field afterwards. You know, you've got to have your press credentials or whatever to go down the field, but everybody's allowed to come down the field afterwards. I'd never seen that before. So yeah, it was amazing. And We're going to talk at spring game. We're waiting on Jordan Cruz. So Jordan messaged me about 5 minutes until
Yeah.
9 and said that he was about 20 minutes from his house because he went to Morgantown today. He can be able to tell us a lot about the festivities and stuff, but he was able to do up there because
Right.
we didn't get to go.
That's a drive.
I didn't get
Princeton
to go.
to Morgantown. Whew.
Yeah. So, but he's on his way back now, and looking forward to having him on the show. Jordan, I've not had Jordan on for quite a while, really. We've been trying to do a show together on here, but we can't ever get our schedules straight. Got him together tonight, and he should be here with us in a little bit. But tell us about the NFL draft, because you go over. You're on that Pittsburgh Steelers show with Bubba. You're on the Pittsburgh Steelers show over there with Bubba.
Yeah,
I guess
Steelers Dynasty.
Up.
So I've been. Bubba was on until 4 in the morning. The 2 mornings, and those Steelers Nation Australia guys, it broadcast for 7 hours straight. On top of the other day, so they probably put in 20 hours. I was on the Steelers Dynasty podcast, and we were eagerly, with just holding our fists, just hoping that what Mike Alsey said would come true, that the Steelers were in love with Zach, and they've consummated the relationship. He is now officially an NFL, signed NFL player. He went up to Pittsburgh today. His interview was fantastic. Everyone I talked to, and the people I talked to on the Steelers Dynasty, aren't huge. They're Steelers Dynasty. Bubba's just saying right now he's a Zach Frazier guy now. So these guys are Zach Frazier guys now. Everyone wants to get his jersey because it's such a blue-collar guy. Now, I hung on later in the afternoon on Steelers Nation Australia, just kind of shooting the bull with the boys, but also hoping that Beanie Bishop would be signed. And guess what, Joey?
What happened? Did he get it?
He was signed by the Steelers as a free agent.
Free agent. All right. Undrafted free agent. And you know something? We was talking about that. Who was talking about that? I think it was Coos was talking about that earlier. That he wasn't picked up. He'll make a good player for somebody. He's right. He'll be a fantastic player for Pittsburgh. I can't believe he wasn't drafted, to be honest with you.
Well, you know what? They were even talking about him in Australia. Matty on the he's an Australian with Mark, and they were doing the show, and he was talking all about Beanie, and I was listening, and then I popped on for a few hours, and I'm like, listen, Beanie's the real deal, and he threw a stat out there, and I don't have the exact number, but I'll give you the gist. So basically, he had the highest rating for, and the way it works is how many throws against that cornerback. And he had the highest rating of basically shutting people down. So, he's 5'9". I think that's what kept him from being a little higher up in the draft, but he plays bigger. And man, with the way the new kickoff is in the NFL, I think he can make an impact instantly. And Zach Frazier is going to be the center. He's going to start.
Yeah, what gets me about Beanie Bishop, I think maybe what hurt him is he didn't have he was decent at Minnesota, but after transferring to West Virginia, he became elite. He got, I think he grew up and played really well for West Virginia, where he was playing decent for Minnesota, right? I mean, he was a good player, but he kind of stepped it up a notch at West Virginia. And I don't know if that was the culture or the strength and conditioning and Mike Joseph up there, or if it was just Neil Brown that got him playing better. But he stepped it up a notch and became all Big 12 or second team all Big 12. And so
I should have been first. I mean, he was. What game was it that he had that interception and a touchdown? I mean, he just jumped. If you were an opposing coach and you're watching film, he would jump out like he was a pop-up book. Right. It just really.
Let me say something.
It's a good day.
Let me say something to some people in the chat here that's with us. Of course, Timothy Green's with us, and he's mentioned Jordan, and Jordan will be here in a little bit. So appreciate you being here, Timothy Green. Of course, Jackson Johnson's always with us. What's up, Mountaineer Nation? Appreciate you being here, Jackson.
The Dynasty podcast. And
Kelly McCourt.
Hey,
Good
Kelly.
job, Kelly. Appreciate you being here. Let's see. Silas is in here. I hadn't seen Silas in a little bit. Appreciate you being here,
Hey.
Silas. What's up, fellow Mountaineers? Love Silas. Silas been around for a long time with us, and of course we mentioned Triple B podcast. We appreciate him being here. Got a couple of good players. Zach Frazier, Beanie Bishop up here, Steelers. So appreciate you, Triple B. And then this one right here, Hoghead. Hoghead, I appreciate you being here. So Hoghead, I don't know if anybody's heard of this or not, but we have the Slob Olympics every year, and that's YouTubers. They get together, play some Olympic games or sporting events, right? That aren't really sporting events. They're the kind of games we play, like throwing a beer can in a trash can or something, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we play games like that. Well, we also do something every year and get together and just have like a get together. So we have softball games, or maybe we go bowling or something. Well, Hoghead has some beautiful property down in Robbinsville, North Carolina.
Wow.
He's got cabins and stuff that he rents out. So we're going down there June 18th. I believe it's 18th to the 21st. Hoghead, if you're still out there in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong, because I am really sorry. I think it's 18th to the 21st of June, and really looking forward to that. And Hoghead or sent me a text message today and said, "Got you reserved, man. You're ready to go." So I'll be down there for that. And anybody that enjoys the Slob Olympics, come hang out with us there. But yeah, so anyway, I wanted to point that out, make sure that everybody knew he was in here. Kenny Evans in here. Appreciate you, Kenny. Go WBU. And then Hoghead did correct me there. July 18th through 21st. July 18th through 21st, not June. Yeah, thank you, Hoghead. Appreciate that. And well, that's you. So, all right. So Shane, well, waiting on Jordan because I don't want to get too much in the spring game without Jordan.
No,
I really
no.
don't.
I want to also talk more about Pat McAfee, the Pat McAfee effect. Okay.
Okay.
So the guy went from talking with Bill Belichick, one of the greatest coaches of all time. You can, if you're a Steelers fan, and Bubba's probably, because he doesn't like old Bill, but he has the rings to. So Pat went from talking at the draft, he is a media mogul. He's not a TV sensation. He's not a YouTube sensation. He steers, viewers to ESPN. So, guys, the fact that he came back into Morgantown and he is showing West Virginia love gives West Virginia more credibility. Almost like when, remember in the 90s, journalists that went to Syracuse actually went up a little bit of a peg, and they would be the first one to tell you, but I think he is a brand ambassador up on par right now with Jerry West. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. He is a brand like Jerry West is at West Virginia. Pat McAfee. Well, he's the leading all-time scorer in the history of West Virginia. So he's already in the record books at WVU. A record breaker in the NFL on many
he made levels. The Pro Bowl as a kicker and a punter.
Right. So I mean, he's he was an amazing player, but even a better media personality, right? And I can't wait to watch this show tomorrow because I guarantee you, or not tomorrow, but Monday, because I guarantee you, pretty much his an hour of his show is going to be talking about the West Virginia spring game. I'm going
to be like this, listening, guys.
Yeah. I mean, think about that, guys, because, I mean, this is a guy that's got a huge following. I mean, millions of people watching this dude. And this is going to get West Virginia out there front and center, knowing that he was there coaching that game. Yeah. So, it's going to be a big part of his show. And I can't wait for that.
It's like those pictures you see the West Virginia fans send, like with Leonardo DiCaprio with WVU hat or Jennifer Gardner with a WVU hat. When you see some cat wearing West Virginia swag, you're like, your inside voice is just laughing and just catching the holy Mountaineer spirit. They're just like, woo, take me home.
Reminds me of when I was I went on vacation back when Noah Devine, Amos Zeroway. When Amos Zeroway was running back in West Virginia.
Yeah.
Everybody knows how good Amos Zeroway was. I mean, my goodness, He was amazing. But I went on vacation to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, 1 year, and I was down there, and I went to a local bar down there and just hung out one night, and I had on a West Virginia t-shirt and a West Virginia hat, and this guy walked up to me and he said, "West Virginia, best running back in the nation, man. That's the best running back in the nation y'all got up there. Amos,
Yeah,
Amos, Amos." I said, "Oh yeah,
yeah.
he's really good." He says, "Amazing." And by the time I left that bar, I think I knew everybody in there because everybody kind of gravitated around me. But you got to remember, back then, West Virginia had a pretty good, yeah, well, they still do have a really good name. They had a huge name back then. Amos Airway there. And so
You'd go down to Myrtle Beach in the 90s, 2000s. There was a West Virginia bar down there.
right. So that it's amazing, and even up in Golden Blue Dude, and I used to talk about this quite often down in Liberty, South Carolina, at bars there. They have like these games, they'll show these games and stuff, and they have a West Virginia room in one of the bars down there, as an actual West Virginia room that shows West Virginia games that's packed with fans in Liberty, South Carolina.
Yeah.
So-
There's the Low County Mountaineer Alumni Association. So it's a bunch of West Virginia alumni in Charleston, South Carolina. In South Carolina, they call it the Low County Mountaineers. They're crazy. And I went to a laundromat, not last year, year before, Myrtle Beach. Okay. And guess what? They had a Coke machine, but it was blue and gold Coke, and it had a Mountaineer on it and a flying WV. So
Yeah.
I don't know how the hell some random laundromat in downtown Dirty Myrtle got the West Virginia Coke machine from probably was on campus for 20 years, but they got it. I'm like, man, I want that in my man cave.
So I got this message here from Timothy. Let's not forget about Pat White, play West Virginia superstar as a quarterback that never lost the ball game. And the thing about it is Pat White's record. But Pat White and Pat McAfee, if you combine their records, they would I seen it today and I can't remember what it was, 44-9, I think, as starters. Pat McAfee and Pat White together.
Yeah.
44-9.
Guys, I'll tell you, I can't overemphasize. I mean, we can't comprehend what this visit and when he and Kurt Herbstreit and him still are going to come to a theater in West Virginia and have some sort of rah-rah cheer session. I don't know what's going to happen, but they're coming.
Right.
Based off of the bet he had with Herbstreit last year, the West Virginia Mountaineers are going to make a bowl and play some good ball.
That's going to kill Herbstreit to have to come to West Virginia.
And now,
and he's probably going to make him wear West Virginia gear.
They're going to play off that, and that's going to be on ESPN, and that's going to tie into getting to Morgantown first week.
Yeah, eyeballs,
and game day, brother.
Game day. You're right.
That's right.
Yeah, eyeballs and game day. And the thing about it is, another thing too, I noticed today was Neil Brown said that almost every 2024 recruit that hadn't signed with West Virginia yet was there. Almost every 2024 recruit that's not signed yet was there.
They know Pat McAfee. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everybody wants to come see Pat McAfee and Pat White. I mean, everybody, every football player out there, that's probably two of their heroes, right? I mean, honestly, if you're a football player anywhere in the country, and somebody says, "Hey, if you're a quarterback, especially, hey, you want to go meet Pat White?" You better believe they're going to be there.
Guys, if you're not a wrestling fan, okay, wrap your head around this. Pat White has a YouTube channel. He's on ESPN, and he is an announcer at
Pat McAfee. You said Pat White.
WWE. Yeah, Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee at WWE events, WrestleMania. I mean, he's everywhere. I mean, guys, the only thing he isn't doing is he's not, he does philanthropy work too, but I mean, the only thing you don't see him doing is, giving Holy Communion at church.
Yeah. So Timothy's saying all the fans, they will get to go to charity of their choice. All the money they're getting from all this.
That's what I'm talking about. He does. So what a great representation for the school. Zach Frazier, another great representative of the school. Now, Beanie Bishop only played 1 year as a Mountaineer, but that was a very significant year for him in development.
Right.
The close proximity for Morgantown to Pittsburgh, I really think helps with those relationships. And let's tie in Blaine Stewart's dad, who gave Coach Tomlin, the Steelers head coach, his first coaching job at William and Mary as a wide receivers coach. So Blaine Stewart not only, probably probably can call Tomlin up. They probably still talk, but Blaine Stewart also coordinated this coaching scheme with Pat White versus Pat McAfee. And I think that was a phenomenal, a quirky, fun way to present. It's an annual practice, a scrimmage, and they really did a good job of spicing it up. It got more butts in the seats. Guys, Joey and me were trying to figure out what the average attendance was. And he said, I was thinking it was maybe around 10. He said it's around 12. Regardless, they had 18. So you're telling me, Joey, that 6,000 people more than normal are there, not because of Neil Brown, but because you have Pat versus Pat.
Yeah. And
Fantastic.
You also have a 9-4 team last year and 91% of the production coming back this year.
Yep.
So there's a lot of excitement out there in Mountaineer Nation. And we're all expecting a good season. We're all expecting at least nine wins, and we're hoping for 10. And actually, a lot of people are expecting us to be in a Big 12 championship that are Mountaineer fans. So, and I think that's a great possibility of that. And, I was saying a long time ago, Neil Brown's better coach than y'all think. You got to give him some chances here. He come in 2019 and took over a very, very, very depleted team.
Empty.
And everybody had transferred. Everybody left. They had graduated from 2018. It was horrible. I mean, it was bad. And then only that.
Add in there the fact that we were in a precipice of a cultural shift of traditional college football recruiting into the new era of NIL.
The transfer. Yeah, the NIL and transfer. So you think about it. He came in 2019 to a depleted team, and he come from a group of 5 into a Power 5 program, had to take over a team that had nobody on it. Yeah. And then he built a little bit and had a decent year in 2019. 2020 had a little bit better year, but it was we had the plague going on, so he couldn't do much that year because he couldn't go out and recruit. He couldn't go in and talk to these students. And guess what? You think it's easy when you're Neil Brown and you came from a group of 5 school and nobody knows who you are, and you're calling these recruits on the phone saying, hey, why don't you come to Morgantown and play? Now you're talking to them on the phone. They're not getting to come and make official visits like they should be, and they're not getting to hang out. So he did a really good job. But we have our special guest in the back room just dropped in here. It's time to talk about this spring game today, and I'm looking forward to this, man. Jordan, I appreciate you being here, brother. Jordan Cruz, Country Roads webcast. Everybody can find him right here on YouTube. Jordan, I know you was up here today, and I know you've been rushing, and I messaged you and said, be safe, man. Don't rush too much. It's okay. Appreciate you being here, man. Appreciate you. How was the game up here today?
Oh, it was a great time, man. It's one of the more successful and fun spring game atmospheres, that I can remember in quite a while. That's really, like I said, apologize for the delay, but honestly, if I'm being honest, it's for good reason that where they gave the fans access to the field afterwards. We had to take advantage of that, getting on the field for 30 minutes, man. So it put me behind for about 30 minutes, unfortunately, but hey, I'm here now and super exciting, man. That was awesome stuff. Great, well put together event by WVU today.
Yeah, we were talking about that 18,540 fans, and then that was a first. I've never heard that many fans at a spring game. Pat McAfee and Pat White coaching the team. Never seen that before at West Virginia. And then on top of that, fans taking the field after a spring game. I have never seen that either. So, I mean, there was a lot of first up for today. Looks like Neil Brown and Brim Baker are really making some changes, some serious changes and stuff. I want to talk to you about something about Jordan because I doubt if you got to see it today. They interviewed Brim Baker during halftime. And Brim Baker said that one thing that he understood that he thought Neil Brown maybe done was, I don't know what exact words were, but sort of like micromanage. Instead of trusting his coaches, instead of trusting things in the past and just trusting his coach as a coach, he kind of was micromanaging, and it might have hurt him the first few years here at West Virginia. But last year he kind of switched that up, started trusting his coaches to coach for him and teach the players, and it seemed to pay off huge dividends for him. So I'm hoping for that again this year. I'm hoping that he steps back and stays away from the micromanaging part. And I think Neil Brown's the man to do that. So, but let's talk about this spring game. So, started out kind of sloppy, I thought, in the first quarter, right? I mean, nobody really was setting the world on fire. They had some razzle dazzle that went incomplete. Garrett Green didn't throw very good in the first quarter. Neither did anybody. I mean, nobody played well. I mean, Ash had a couple of good runs, right? Probably the big quarterback today for me was Chris.
Yeah,
I mean, that kid can throw the ball.
Yeah, I was surprised, man. I was like, because I knew I'd heard a lot about the other walk-on quarterback, Scott Keene, but when I seen Kristen there, I was like, man, he's really throwing some darts there late. That one he had over the middle, I think it was Traylon Ray or Jaden Bray one late that he hit there in the fourth quarter. That was a nice ball, and he put together a nice little drive there. So, yeah, I think despite the fact that they're not scholarship guys, some of those other reserve quarterbacks on the roster didn't look too bad today.
Yeah,
right. Now, I was thinking when I was watching Chris play today and his ball and the way he threw that ball, because, most quarterbacks were going to throw deep, especially they'll float it, right? They'll float it or whatever. And sometimes they overthrow it. Sometimes they underthrow it. But he threw balls today that reminded me of Geno Smith's perfect spiral going down that field with a bullet. Does that make sense? Do you know what I'm talking about? That's what it looked like to me. It looked like a Geno Smith thrown ball. So anytime you're throwing a ball that looks like Geno Smith to people, in my opinion, you must be a pretty damn good quarterback.
You're doing something.
I was really happy with him. But tell us what you've seen up there today out of the spring game. I didn't mean to step on your toes there. I would like to know what you thought of Green and Markio and Chris and Clay Ash. So tell us what you thought.
Some guys stepping up there for sure. Yeah, like you said, I think first of all, the atmosphere well improved, some of the things we already talked about, but also I thought it was nice. Typically, I've been going up there, trying to go to every spring game I could for, I'd say about the past decade or so. This is the first time I can also remember them opening up both sides of the stadium. And that was pretty cool. You even got, the Let's Go Mountaineers chant going from side to side at one point. And that was the first in the spring game. So well attended. The atmosphere was good. And I think as far as what we saw on the field, much like you said, I think early in the game, maybe some nerves, maybe knocking off a little bit of rust, from the off season, still getting into the swing of things a little bit. But after they got into it, I think that we saw what I was kind of hoping to see, because I think, right, when you look at West Virginia, we have a team last year, super explosive offense. I think we're expecting that again this year. We need the defense to take a step up. So what I was hoping to see was, hey, if the defense can at least hold their own, I think that that's probably a good sign for us that the defense is taking a good step to improve. And I think we saw a good bit of that today. It was a good back and forth. The offense made a few plays, but the defense made some plays too, even some interceptions. But you look at the battle in the trenches, I wouldn't say it was really won definitively by either side. Our offensive line wasn't getting dominated. Our defensive line wasn't getting dominated. And they did a good job mixing both those units up. There wasn't really Gold team didn't have all of your starting offensive line. Neither did the blue team. They had some, both of those mixed in. That's one thing I noticed on the first drive from the beginning with the Gold team. You had Brandon Yates, who's probably going to be the starting center, but then you had 4 more reserve guys around him. And then when you look at the blue team's offensive line, of course, Thomas Remock wasn't playing. He's probably going to be the starting left guard this season. And you had probably 3 starters on that offensive line and then, 1 on the other. So they did a good job, I think, kind of splitting the teams up, made it a little bit more even, and it made for some pretty fun competition. I think even some of the more, not 11 on 11, but the individual drills they did were more interesting because they let it have some fun with it, getting, some linemen involved even in those one-on-ones. I thought that was a fun aspect. So I think they did a lot to try and make it more entertaining more than anything. And they did a good job with that. But as far as what you see on the field, I always think it's kind of hard to take a lot away from a spring game, kind of grain of salt stuff. But I didn't see anything that got me any less excited for the upcoming season. If anything, I'm even more excited because I think our defense is going to be improved. And I think our offense didn't do a lot to give anything away to our opponent, kept it pretty vanilla. And we're going to really see what they can do, come this fall.
There was an
Yeah.
article about Sean Martin. Did you? I mean, I just saw it yet today, and it mentioned that he was not well last year. But didn't specify injury or illness. But they said he's back to 100%. Did you get to see him on the field at all today, or?
I don't know if he got in on any. I don't remember seeing him play, but I know he was there because when they did the halftime, they did the Iron Mountaineer Awards and stuff. He won one of them, so he was there, and I think he was in pads if I remember right. But I didn't see him get in there. I think there were several players they were just keeping out, I guess, precautionary reasons. I know Cole Taylor, C.J. Donaldson, couple others off the top of my head. They're slipping my mind.
Yeah, CJ's on the back end of that recovery. Like anything with those injuries take, we're not talking weeks, months.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. So I'm still optimistic. Now, Joey had mentioned that Ash, that new running back, is a spark plug. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, I think that he's a guy that, maybe could work his way into the rotation. It just depends on, I think, really when these other, running backs that are coming in the summer, Dior Hubbard, Trayvon Dunbar, how quickly they get acclimated, how used they are to the game. And also I want to see what happens there with portal movement. Jalen Anderson, he's kind of the one a lot of people have been keeping their eye on. I think they were doing that in the previous cycle. When Justin Johnson left, they were wondering if he was going to go too. He's still around. He didn't get a ton of carries today, which I thought was kind of interesting. And so because to me is like, does that mean it's because they know what they have with him? They feel solid with him, or is it because he might be on?
Yeah, but you gotta know you have to be a good coach, a good I call it a barroom analyst. You have to be able to sit there and read the room and know if this kid wants the touches or does he understand that you have a good relationship and he's okay. We're going to let some of these other guys touch the ball.
So here's the thing about it. So Justin Johnson, I really think that he's going to hit the transfer portal. I do. I don't know for sure. But for some reason, when I seen him today in the game for a little bit, I was like, I thought he transferred. So somebody has told me that he was transferring already, and I had it in my mind. But I don't know if it's true. I don't know. It just something in my mind that he was transferring. And when I see him on the field today, I was like, I thought he transferred. So
I think a lot of people were talking like when Johnson did transfer, people were talking about Anderson transferring too. So I think a lot of people thought that they were both gone. And it's not. It seems like Jalen Anderson hasn't been talked about a ton throughout spring by the coaches either. So it seems like a lot of, like you said, been talked about with Clay Ash. And then I was surprised to see first running back trotted out there today and really featured a lot on that first drive. Especially being, a preferred walk-on, but, he's got the size and he really showed some, good capability. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him work his way into the rotation at some point,
Now, did you get to meet him after the game? Did you get to meet Ash?
I didn't get to see him. I think that, I don't know if it was just optional for the players, like who could stay out, who couldn't, because there were certain players we were looking for that we never did see out there. So I think some of them may have been, hey, it's not my thing. I don't really want to do that. And maybe they didn't choose to. So I don't know if he was out there or not, but I didn't get to see him. I know at first.
And usually they wouldn't let freshmen stay out there and talk to him.
That may be it too. I know a lot of people were like, we're around Garrett.
Yeah.
That's where we went initially. And then it was just such a big line that nobody was even going to get to him. It was going to take like a time. So.
Any receivers stand out to you, gentlemen?
I think that really, he didn't make a ton of plays in this game, but I think a lot of things the coaches were saying about Jaden Bray transfer from Oklahoma State, you can see it in his physique. He's got, the nice build, really strong, big body guy. Looks like he's going to be able to.
Is he as tall as they say he is? Usually they pad the stats.
Honestly, and I think, I don't know if it's just the number, but really, I think he has a similar build to Devin Carter last year. That's kind of who, when you look at him on the field, they kind of have a similar body type. So that's who I would make the comparison was there. I think that he's going to be a little bit better addition for us than Devin Carter was. Not to, hate on him or anything, but I think that Jaden Bray will just play a bigger part. But I think both Traylon Ray and Hudson Clement looked really smooth in the routes. They're both going to have great years. And then Preston Fox, to me, had the most impressive catch of the day in that touchdown over Montre Miller, I believe it was.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Now,
so I was going to ask you about that because it's. I think a lot of people say, well, we're going to be really good unless this player gets hurt, and you start thinking about, okay, who can we lose on this offense? And it hurt us the most. And I really believe that there's two of them, Hudson Clement and Preston Fox. If we lost one of those two, I think it would hurt this team. I think we'd be okay if Garrett Green went down for a few games because Nico's pretty good, and has some experience. We're fine in running back, and I think we're okay even across the line for the most part. But I really worry about those receivers because Hudson Clement and Preston Fox, my goodness, the only thing them two do is catch every ball that comes their way, right? I mean, it just seems like it don't matter where you throw it, just throw it into their direction. But that was an awesome catch in the back of the end zone by Preston Fox today, because he snatched it with two hands, but then he had to jerk it away with one to keep the defender off of him, and he did that. Hudson Clement caught the one touchdown on the crossing pattern in the end zone, remember?
Oh, yeah.
And I felt like he pushed off on it. I did. They should replay, and I was like, ooh, he pushed off because his arms extended and stuff. They didn't call it, but he pushed off and got some separation there. It was a good catch and good play, but I think it would have been a flag in a regular game. So.
Yeah, I think the refs were on West Virginia's side there, right?
That's
now,
right.
Jordan, I'm going to ask you, I don't know if you know this news. Okay. Beanie Bishop signed as a free agent with the Steelers. Did you know that?
I just had seen it just right before I hopped on. Had seen it on.
Yeah, it's like at like 8:50 he signed.
That's awesome.
So
awesome. The Steelers picking up former Mountaineers left and right, huh?
It's fantastic. Very excited.
That's great. Yeah,
it's good to get
my
back
family
to that.
Steelers fans, so I'm sure that they're going to be super excited.
Yeah, I haven't had I'm not a huge NFL fan. I'll watch the Steelers, but here's the thing: I've not owned a Steelers jersey since Cordell Stewart. That goes way back, right? So we're talking 25 years. Now I'm 30. I might buy now Zach Frazier. News came out today. He's going to keep his number 54 jersey, and his jersey is trending. People are going to grab it. People are so
there's going to be a lot of Mountaineer fans buying that one. I might have to be one of them myself too. I have to break down and buy a Steelers jersey.
Yep.
I'm not going to go that far. I might break down and buy a West Virginia Zach Frazier jersey, but I'm not going to buy a Steelers jersey. I mean.
I hear you. I'd probably buy the West Virginia jersey before I'd buy a Steelers jersey. Like I have this sweatshirt. I have one hat that was my brother-in-law's when he passed away. I got it back. It was a gift to him. And then I have this, and that's the only Steelers stuff I have. But I have a ton of West Virginia stuff.
Yeah, that's all right. When I was younger, like I said, most of my family Steelers fans, so I liked because everybody else liked them. So I have like a old Jerome Bettis jersey that's like minuscule from when I was little. But then when I started picking my own team, I liked the Panthers and rode with them ever since.
There you go.
So I've got a little bit of Steelers stuff. So I don't think it's not like I haven't owned anything before. So I think I could get away with getting the Zach Frazier jersey.
But
one more thing I wanted to cover.
Yeah.
Oh,
the fact that I was talking earlier that. Fact that Blaine Stewart's dad had a relationship with Coach Tomlin.
Yeah.
I think the ties to the university are still there.
Yeah,
and I think it's, I think it's something that I hope Neil Brown uses in recruiting. Beanie Bishop was probably the poster child of, hey, come here, make a name for yourself in the Big 12. Like Joey was saying, he was good in the Big Ten, but he didn't just pop off the video screen. He was dynamite last year, and now he has an NFL contract. If he would have just tried to go to the NFL last year, I don't think he would have got signed as undrafted free agent.
Right. Yeah, I'd agree. I think it's a good job by the staff, finding those guys that are overlooked and they have that chip on their shoulder. And it really fits with West Virginia's mentality as well, finding those overlooked guys that feel like they're better than, they've been given credit for. And, it paid off for Beanie. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully they use it again in the future.
Quite a bit more I'm going to cover.
Basketball coach is going to do the same thing. I think that's a cowbell they're going to start hitting. And, the fact that he went to the Steelers, which has a rabid fan base, a lot of the West Virginia fans, they hate Pitt, but I love the Steelers. I don't understand it, but
it is what it is.
It ties in. I think it's fantastic for the program. And like before you hopped on, I was talking about how Pat White and Pat McAfee are fantastic stewards of what it is to be a Mountaineer, and what juice Pat has. WWE commentator. He's on YouTube. He has a show on ESPN. He's an ESPN analyst. I mean, he is literally our Jerry West, nowadays, that he has that much. He's the ambassador of the brand of the Flying WV. And
That's true.
we don't even know what's going to come down the road based off the fact that he came into Morgantown, did what he did yesterday. He's going to come in again and do that charity thing with Herb Street.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I think that's big, man. I think it's really big. The previous coaching staff did not, really form relationships with alumni. I think it hurt us in some aspects. And this is really going to help, in big ways. I think I saw a video that somebody put out of him talking to a recruit, while he was in Morgantown, and that recruit committed later, earlier today. I think we've had several commits, since the spring game today. And so I think, having someone that's in that national spotlight really does wonders for you because, as much as we hate to admit it, there is a politics side to sports, right? And if you have somebody that's nationally relevant that's pushing you, you're going to be in the forefront of people's minds, and that's only going to help you in that aspect of things.
Yeah.
So we have a lot to cover from the spring game today, but I wanted to point this out. The Tommy Nikolic Award, Memorial Award, went to Avery Wilcox, who's redshirt junior, and it's the first time it went to a father or son, right? Because the father won it before, son won it this time. And then the Iron Mountaineer Awards went to Wyatt Milam, Sean Martin, Preston Fox, Garrett Green, and Austin Brinkman.
Garrett Green.
Yeah, so Garrett Green got an Iron Mountaineer Award. But there's a lot to talk about. I wanted to ask about this though. How'd you like the uniform reveals? Did you? Man. What they revealed like 9 different uniform combinations today. One I kept waiting to see though. I wanted to see a black uniform walk out.
That was the only complaint that we had. Really, we were expecting them to roll those out, but I guess they're going to make us wait, for August to see those. But the ones they did reveal, man, I'm a big fan. I think that they did a good job, making them modern, but also having great nods to all the classic, the Don Neyland era stripes on the pants. That's awesome. I always love the stripes on the pants. You got the WV back on the sleeve. That's great. Just like those 07 unis. Got the stripe with those 07 unis. I think
right here, little like
right on the sleeve. Yeah. And
Elon stripe.
The one thing that I was really hoping for and to see, because it was like my big complaint with the last set, was just throw some gold on the blue, on the white uniforms, on the blue numbers. They did it. They put it around the WV.
They did it. I was going to say that, Jordan. That's my favorite. That little splash, around the Flying WV, the blue. Because when it looks just blue and white, I'm thinking Penn State. It makes it,
Yeah, throw some gold on there. It made all the difference in the world. So, I'm a big fan. I think that they turned out really nice. It's one of my favorite sets that we've had in a while, I think.
Gentlemen, I do have a criticism of the uniforms. Okay. I like the matte white. I like that. It's okay. A pearl would have been my preferred, but I don't like a matte navy blue helmet. I want the the metallic, beautiful blue that shines. I want that. I just want it to be at least one of the 3 helmets make classic,
That glossy helmet looked really good, especially night games under the lights, man. It really popped. That
and then it gets a couple stripes on it from the O linemen look like monsters because they have the big stripes, from banging heads.
For sure.
I think the only uniform combination I never really cared for, but until Tavon Austin started playing good in it and just like tore everybody up, and that was the mustard yellow uniforms. I hated them mustard color, them full mustard. They look like a jar of mustard out there. Remember that?
I'm the opposite. That's my favorite. I love.
You like all yellows. The bananas.
I'm the one that's in. I know I'm in the minority on that, but I do. I love it.
They put it like garbage, man. Jordan.
I love
the bananas.
I love it because I
like
forever
when we wear like a different color helmet.
See, I loved it when we used to do the gold rush and we'd have the blue helmet on. That was my complaint always. Man, I like the gold helmet so bad. I'm like, we need a gold helmet so bad, so we'd actually be a true gold rush, all gold. So when we finally got the gold helmet, man, I was so hyped. So I love when they go all gold. I know most people hate it, but I'm the one weird one that loves the gold.
Well, I liked it. I liked it because it seems like Tavon Austin always played very good.
Yeah,
and things you remember. I mean, every time he had that daggone uniform on, he would return a kick. Hell, he wore it against Oklahoma and had 400 yards. So, I mean,
that was a hell of a performance.
There's a combo that I think is
My
Go ahead.
favorite today was the all white. I love the all
Oh,
white.
yeah.
I had to agree with Rasheed
I love 'em.
Marshall.
That's my
They was
favorite.
asking Rasheed Marshall, and Rasheed Marshall said
Yep.
that was his favorite. I completely agree with him.
I
I
agree.
love that new all white uniform. It looked really nice.
That's my favorite too. And any variation, if they throw the blue pants with it or blue helmet with the white on white, I just like those white. And the fact that they have that gold, guys. When there's a little bit of mud, on that white, that gold's just gonna pop. It's gonna look fantastic. Kelly likes the new white uniforms.
Yep.
Nice. Now let me ask you all a question, because this is the only thing I've really seen people being a little bit mixed about. Is how do y'all feel about the text on the front, the Mountaineers and the West Virginia on the away? Do y'all like it, or take it or leave it?
Well, the white has West Virginia, if I recall,
Yeah,
and then
for
the
the
Mountaineers
away.
on the blue and the yellow.
Yep.
I actually like it because I think it's a more retro. So
I don't.
I like it. I would say
I don't.
like
I think it's confusing because you have the WB on the helmet and Mountaineers down here on the shirt, or West Virginia on the shirt, and a Mountaineer on the helmet. I don't know. I liked just a little tag right here, that had the West Virginia logo. Remember that? I like that on the front of the uniform, and the flying WV on the sleeve like they have now. That's what I like. I didn't care too much for the Mountaineers or West Virginia being across the front of the uniform.
Yeah.
But
I didn't feel
But
I
it
didn't,
still
I
is
didn't feel like it took away from it too much for me, but I also, like, when I was thinking about it and I was looking at the uniform, and I'm like, if that wasn't there, would I like the uniform any less? And I don't think I would. So it's not like it really, I hate it. But also, if it wasn't there, I'd still think, oh, those are great, But I had a feeling they were going to do that because we all really loved the Country Roads uniforms, and they both had that on there. So I figured they were going to really do some nods to that.
I'm a minority. I wasn't a huge fan. I thought the little thing with the roads on it in 79 was kind of stupid. I mean, 79 is not a country road. It's a freaking huge highway.
That's true. That's a good point.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, it's kind of like, it's like having the Wright brothers with a Boeing 747. It's not a country road. Put a dirt road on that thing.
True.
Or make it like a coal seam. Like make it, if it's going to be charcoal and all black and gray, make it a coal seam or something. I like kind of that tie-in.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But boys, the black uniform, people are grumping. What were your thoughts?
I'm just surprised because I think that they have to know that we all kind of know that the cat's out of the bag, and we know that it's supposed to be coming for Penn State. So I guess thinking that they all realize that we know that, I figured that they wouldn't make us wait and they would reveal them. So I think that's kind of the biggest shock to me was that they didn't bring that out with it, especially because during the game when they first, tried it out the set and they announced that's the first of, 3 uniform combinations we're going to reveal. So we weren't thinking they were just going to mix up the combinations. I was like,
say that?
Yeah, because they did it after the first quarter, the second quarter, and the third quarter. And so we were thinking, one of these times they're going to trot out the black with it, and it's going to get crazy in here. But they were just mixing up the different helmets and pants and stuff.
Yeah, they should have done that. If they're going to do the black uniform, which I don't guess there's any guarantee of that, but if they're going to do that black uniform, this would have been the perfect day to trot out on the field with it.
What makes
with
me
18,000. I think if they'd known they was going to have 18,540 fans there, they would have thought about that a little bit more.
And the recruits.
Yeah, and the recruits.
Yes.
Right.
Now, here's what makes me think, guys, and just tell me if my logic is messed up. Jordan, Joey, okay. The gold and the navy, the blue, okay? Those are the ones that say Mountaineers on them, right?
Yeah.
That's the yin and the yang. The white and the black are going to say West Virginia. That's that yin and yang. So I think there's going to be a black uniform. Am I crazy?
Maybe. I don't know, because
the helmet.
I should ask the Magic 8 Ball.
Well, the gold and the blue helmet both have the flying WV. The white helmet has the state outline and the WV inside. Right. So that would make sense for the black helmet would have that logo too. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah. You might be onto something.
That would be cool. Now, as far as I know, and Jordan, you might know different than me. There's been nothing official out of West Virginia about a black uniform. The only thing is we see a lot on X, right? We see a lot of people tweeting out that there's going to be a black uniform. I've not heard nothing
From the
official on that, but it'd be nice.
The only thing that I've heard was Mike Kazaza said it on their podcast or whatever, and that's I think what kind of got everything rolling for it. So nothing from the university. Now they're still mama, so who knows? But I guess everyone's rolling with it because the fact that he just felt confident enough to come out and say it on their podcast. It's like I don't think he would say it if he felt like it was a rumor. So I'm like, I guess everyone's going with it then, but. Who knows? Maybe it's not. You never know. It's hard to tell.
I'm gonna answer this one first. You guys miss the gray? No, I don't at all.
Hate the gray.
How about y'all?
I don't. I don't. Here's my thing. As long as we get if the blacks get revealed, I'm fine because I want to have some type of alternate. I like having some type of different option to throw in there.
I like it on
occasion.
basketball.
So yeah.
Well, the only time that I like the gray is like with what Timothy said there. The uniform I like best is the one that we win in, baby. Let's go. If we're going to win in it, we'll win the gray. We're the gray every week. I don't care what kind of uniform we wear at that point,
That's right.
But we're on here talking to Jordan Cruz from Country Roads Webcast. Find him right here on YouTube, and he's got a podcast, Country Roads Podcast, right?
Country Roads Webcast also, yeah.
Oh, it's a Country Road Webcast.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can find him there. And great friend of the show, and I always appreciate having him on. So tell me something, Jordan. I'm sure you went today to look at 2 or 3 players and see what you thought, because I know you study that roster. I mean, I know you do. You study that roster really close. You look at all of our recruits coming in, and you take a deep dive into them. Probably the most thorough guy I know and all that. But is there a couple of players that you went to see today?
Yeah, man, I was really watching some of those new defensive backs that we brought in, whether it was the freshmen that enrolled early, the transfers that came in, and I liked what I saw in a lot of cases. I think that Aiden Garnes came over from Duquesne. He really stood out to me a lot. They had talked him up some throughout the spring, getting interceptions, things like that. And I watched him some, even in the one-on-one drills. He had one, I think it was against Hudson Clement, and Hudson Clement ended up catching it, but he had to make a hell of a grab to do it because the coverage was excellent. He had a great pick in the game earlier. And then another one that really stood out, I was kind of wanting to keep an eye on because they've been saying some things, and I'm wondering, is this, just spring talk, coach speak or whatever? But true freshman, Zay Jennings, they've been working him at the spear spot some. They said he stood out, and then he jumped in. It was in one drive, and I thought that this kind of just showed the type of player that he can be because you see he's a true freshman. He enrolled early. He's going to make some mistakes. So on the drive, he gets a personal foul penalty, kind of hurts the team. The other team ends up scoring. How does he bounce back? On the 2-point conversion, makes an amazing break on the ball, intercepts it, would have been, 2 points the other way if we're playing a real game. And so I thought that was good right there, showing that he can overcome adversity. And so as a young guy, that's a guy that's going to be a freshman this season that I wouldn't be surprised to get involved in the rotation there. I think a lot of those guys that we brought in as newcomers that were here for the spring in the defensive backfield are going to be good additions for us, whether we're talking, those 2 that I just mentioned or, Garnett Hollis, who I think has got a chance to be a really good defensive back, Jaheim Joseph in the backfield as well. All those guys, I think, looked kind of the way I expected them to look. And I think that our defense, I mentioned earlier, I think it's going to surprise some people come the fall, the step up that this defense takes.
Joey, your sound, bud.
Oh, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. I don't know why my mic went off. Anyway, we was talking earlier about Ash, and you said you didn't get to meet him down the field and stuff. And the reason I asked you that is because on TV he looked so short. He looked like he was, like up to the chest here on Garrett Green. And I'm sitting there thinking, this guy looks like a 9th grader out there because he was so short. But he's got speed and shippiness, so
yeah,
he's good size too. I think he's 200 plus, but I think him and the other running backs, Judah Price, both of those guys, I think they were both like 5'7" or less, if I remember right. So,
but they're 200. They're 200 pounds.
Yeah, they're stocky, thick-looking guys, though, man. They can.
Well, that's what gets me about this because they look like. Well, I don't guess they really look like it, but. Reminded me of like an Emmitt Smith, a short, heavy or stocky looking running back, right?
Type of frame, yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
You imagine, you don't see that behind those ginormous offensive tackles. And all of a sudden, this guy pops out the 3-hole.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
Well, and if you look at the running back room, I mean, we've got 3 out of 5 guys that are like that. Judah Price, Clay Ash, Jaheim White. So I mean,
Jaheim White.
it might be.
I think Jaheim White is the smallest of the bunch.
I think so. Height wise, I'd be surprised.
But he was running the wheels off the ball the end of the last season, guys.
I love Jaheim White. That's my guy, man. That's who I was really looking for a post game. I didn't see him down there because I was like, I got to get a picture with Jaheim or something, man. I was like, I love that guy. I think he's gonna be special. I really do.
I do too. I really do. Yeah. So we didn't get to see, as far as I know, we didn't see CJ Donaldson. But I think he's still nursing some injuries there and recovering from that. And probably didn't need to see him anyway, right? Yeah. I mean, because on spring games, I don't know about you guys. I want to see the young guys. I want to see what we got.
Yeah.
I want to see our future. I want to see our backups. I want to see, that, because if you put backups out there in the game, you can actually run some plays that you'll normally run in a game because you're running them with backups, right? And stuff. You're not really showing anything. So I like the fact that we had a lot of receivers and a lot of running backs, and even, like I say, getting to see a couple of different quarterbacks today too. So let me ask you a question, Jordan. So down there today, did you? I know it was like close to halftime, and you probably was maybe out the concession stand, but did you get to see the big guys throwing the ball back in the corner and the fade routes and stuff?
Yeah. Man, that was some good stuff. I thought it was funny getting to see all them out there, and I didn't realize that I had to let them all go through, and they was like, "Oh, we got another guy that wants to hop in and throw it or whatever," and it was that guy Boston Connor or whatever from the Pat McAfee show that does it with him, and he was down there faking a handoff, trying to hit the corner of the net and stuff. But I thought that was a lot of fun that they didn't just have each, just quarterbacks doing that drill. They let the big man do it. And same when they were doing the one-on-one wide receiver versus defensive back drills, they had Brandon Yates against one of the D linemen and stuff. It's fun, let the players have some fun, in the spring.
Yeah.
And the fans get good entertainment out of that too. So I really got
and then they had and like you said, they even had some fans throwing the ball around down there, and coming out there on the field and throwing some fade routes back in the corner and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool to include everybody in that. But so it was an amazing day in Morgantown. I know you had a lot of fun up there. I wish I could have went up there. I mean, I'm kind of jealous that you was up there for it, because I wish I could have been up there. But anyway, I'm going to say something real quick to everybody in the chat. If you wasn't here at the beginning of the show, so Eugene Napoleon, his wife is Ny'a. So Eugene gave me permission a year and a half ago to use a video called 304 on our openings and stuff. And it's a great video. It's a great song, great video. And I played it at the beginning of the show, and then a lot of you guys weren't here for that because I play it when we're first coming on, and we only have 1 or 2, 3 people, 5 people maybe in the chat. Now there's a lot of you out there. Be sure you go back and watch the beginning of this video and see that, or I can play it again at the end. I don't care. We'll play it again at the end for you if y'all want to stick around and watch it one more time. Because it's really great, and we really appreciate Eugene Napoleon and Ny'a for giving us permission to use that. Nya's got 18 platinum records, so I think that's more than Beyonce. So that's pretty good. Individual singles. So, well, Jordan, anything else for us today, man? Anything else that you wanted to come on and talk about with us?
I'm trying to think off the top of my head if I can think of anything, but I think really the main thing, my takeaway is hopefully they just continue to make that spring game an event, kind of like they did this year. I think that a lot of people, like you said there, Joey, seeing kind of the things that happened this year, seeing them, having even the fan access afterwards. I would not be surprised to see next year's spring game reach maybe 20,000. You might have attendance hit that because people are going to see that this year, and they're going to want to be there next year, I think. And who knows if the guest coaches should be a continual thing they do, but that's going to draw some people in as well. So I think that they've got some good ideas that they really started with this year, and hopefully it's just the tip of the iceberg, and this thing's going to continue to grow and grow for West Virginia to where the spring game's just as big of an event as Saturdays are in the fall.
Yeah, next year I want to see Stedman Bailey and Major Harris coaching.
There you go, Stedman Bailey, Major Harris.
Or Tavon Austin and Stedman Bailey, or Tavon Austin and Major Harris. I mean, it was just some combination of that. That'd be really great. It'd be amazing to see that.
Or you could do Mark Bolger and,
Mark Bolger and Jeff Hostetler.
Yeah.
That would be
That's a good.
fantastic.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. So there's so many different combinations
Yeah.
they could do with
Yeah.
this, and you know, it's going to draw the fans. It's going to draw the crowd, and especially knowing that after the spring game, you get to come down the field and say hi to these guys, you know, and shake their hand. So I thought that was a nice little thing. And Rim Baker's making some serious changes up there for the better, right? I think Shane Lyons. Don't get me wrong. I think Shane's a great guy, but he just wasn't the right guy for the job in Morgantown. Shane Lyons was not. I think that it's showing right now when you look at our athletic program overall. Hey, our golf team. What is that? Oh, I was
I was trying to slide my thing over.
Austin Powers.
Hit my button. That's when I do my uniform segment, and if they have
Yeah.
gold in the reveal,
I love gold.
I love gold.
Remember those on the CRW. I love gold, so I got to hit my button.
Oh yeah. But I'm really looking forward to this season, guys, and stuff. And so Jordan, we appreciate you coming on with us tonight and stuff. I really appreciate it. Shane, did you have any more questions for Jordan?
No, I loved having him on. Joey, thanks again for putting together a great show. Jordan, thanks for coming on after a long day and a long drive. Man, hats off to you. Thank you.
Hey, well worth it, guys. Had a great time with you all. Do it again soon. Shane, Joey, you guys are awesome. Always enjoy y'all's show. Everybody that's in here, drop a like in here on this video, man. They really deserve it. Helps a ton with YouTube, and always continue to check stuff out here, man. Great WVU fans, a great show they put together always. Great Big 12 content, all of it. Love it.
Well, thank you, Jordan. I appreciate you
Thank
being
you.
here with us, and I'm glad you made it in here with us. And I'm with Silas. Beat Penn State. That's all we need, right? I was on with Mark Rogers there at 8:00. I was on with Mark Rogers talking about the spring game, and we were talking about that. And I told him, I said, "Here's the thing about this, Mark. We've got a really tough slate in the Big 12. Right after the Pitt game." You know, it gets pretty tough for us for the next 5 games because we got Iowa State, Kansas State, Kansas. Yeah, it's really Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
All of the good teams in the Big 12, Arizona, all the good teams in the Big 12, we play them 5 games in a row,
Nice little
and then
streak.
we get cooled off at the end of the year, right? We get to cool down at the end of the year. We get a little bit easier schedule, but our schedule's tough. They start opening up with Penn State, then the Cupcake, then Pitt, and then going into a gauntlet in the Big 12 for 5 games with a bye week in between after the first game of the Big 12. We got a bye week, but still yet, it's going to be a gauntlet in the Big 12 this year, and I'm looking forward to it. But we were talking about rivalries too. No rivalries in the Big 12 anymore. You got Farmageddon, and now you got the Utah and BYU is going to be a rivalry. But the thing about it is, they're not scheduled on rivalry weekend. Only Farmageddon's scheduled on rivalry weekend. I think Arizona and Arizona State are, and that might be a rivalry, and it's a big rivalry to them. Don't mean nothing to me until Arizona State gets a football team, right? It doesn't mean nothing until Arizona State can get a football team together. So, but
they got a ways to
there's
go.
just not any real rivalries left in the Big 12. So here's to the ACC. Hey, Florida State and Clemson, get the hell out of there so we can pick up some ACC teams in the Big 12 and have some rivalries going on in West Virginia
right.
here. How about that?
That's right.
All right, Jordan, I appreciate you being here, brother. And hey, listen, appreciate everybody out there in the chat. And like I promised you guys, I'm gonna close this out by playing this video for you one more time. If you haven't seen this video, or watch it, and if you get a chance, go over and pick you up a copy of it. It's 304 by Ny'a, which is Eugene Napoleon's wife. Eugene Napoleon was on our team in 1988 that played Notre Dame for the national championship. Eugene was a running back. Probably if they would have had stars back then, Eugene Napoleon would have been a 5-star running back coming out of high school, no doubt. So here you go, guys. Appreciate everyone being here tonight, and we will see everybody again on Monday night.
No big cities, flowing waters, everything's so place of refuge. It's where I wanna be. 304, that's all I ever live for. 304, alright. 304, that's all I ever live for. 304, alright. Far away, touch so nice. So we got love with a little bit of sugar and spice. That's right. Friendly smiles, that's all you'll ever see. Mountain